What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another weekly update. And this past week, we have had tons of sideways action. We've had tons of ups and downs. You can basically say this past week has been a roller coaster ride for the better, right? But with that being said, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So, might as well just throw this out there. I am recording this on a Saturday morning, and the stimulus package was just approved by the House. Yes, there is $1,400 stimulus checks coming. The $1.9 trillion relief package has been approved. Now, with that being said, you still have the Senate and the president. The Senate might get a little bumpy there, but I think ultimately everything is still going to pass. Being said, everything this week has been kind of building up. I know inflation was a big talk this weekend about what essentially was happening with inflation, with the yield bonds and everything else. The bonds finally bounced, but being said, that has really helped. You could tell that the buyers were moving in on the bonds. From what I actually overheard, Kathy Woods actually came out with a video as well, talking about the current market state, ultimately kind of talking about deflation and everything. About this is something I've been kind of talking about in general, just the market, right? You still have the old school mindset, and you have essentially the new school mindset, which is essentially Kathy Woods, right? The forward thinkers, the trend followers, right? In society, the marketplace in general. This is where it's good to have a business mindset when you are talking about the market in general, because you have to be a forward thinker. You have to follow the trends ultimately, right? Not just think about old companies, right? The old way of investing is not there, and people still want it to be there, aka you get people like Janet Yellen, right, that are talking about things like Bitcoin, and then you got somebody else like Kathy Woods telling her that she doesn't understand Bitcoin, blockchain, how it works, and the forward thinking on that, and what blockchain can do, right? It eliminates the middleman. Ultimately, yes, governments may not like that. Governments may put in restrictions for that. Understandable, but there could be there's a lot of conspiracy theory in that and what that could play out to be. And I don't really want to get into that in this video, but ultimately, stock market, focusing on what's going on this week, right? We want to keep this macro in this week, right? Don't want to look too far into the future here. Although if those are videos that you want me to do, I can put some more stuff out there on the trends and stuff that I am seeing. I do a lot of my own due diligence. I do follow Kathy Woods closely, follow what she's doing. I have some other resources that I use to look at that forward guidance. If you want me to do videos like that, leave a comment down in the description below. I can do more videos on things that are coming. But ultimately, Kathy Woods, right, she's been buying a ton this past week. If you haven't noticed, I did make a video on the research on that. She's doubled down on Tesla, PLTR. She's bought in a lot of PLTR. She's bought a lot of Twitter over the past week. She's just been buying everything. And with the stimulus package just being released, it was supposed to be released either yesterday or today. Again, I'm recording this on a Saturday. It got released at 2 a.m. this morning, from what I hear. And now I think Monday we open up. We finally get this train start moving back up. I think this is that big movement I was talking about on the last weekly update. This was it. I think this was your dip buy. Now, to confirm that, right, bonds are bounced back up. You could tell bonds broke and almost did like a mini flash crash on Thursday, if you didn't notice, but it was bought up quickly. Now, being said, stimulus is passed. We are looking now currently, we've been trading sideways. The market has been wanting to sell off. We've been waiting on the stimulus that I talked about. The one black swan that could possibly happen is if they cut stimulus or stimulus was not passed, because we do have an enormously strong market right now. Being said, I think we're going to open up tomorrow on Sunday. Futures will open, and we are going to gap. From that point, I think Monday we'll have a dip to essentially load up and then watch the next 2 months it really explode. Now, again, do your own due diligence. Again, I'm just some random guy on YouTube. I don't want you to go in there and whole account something, right? Go with high conviction, go with your growth stocks, whatever the case is. Again, growth stocks, I think have taken a massive hit. A lot of them have taken over 30+% on this current downtrend that we've been dealing with, talking about inflation and everything. But again, if you haven't seen Cathie Wood's video, she is extremely knowledgeable about the economy, and it is well worth your time, right? If you are going to be in the market and do this part-time, full-time, whatever the case is, it's good to follow her and obtain her knowledge. She is extremely knowledgeable about all the markets, forward-thinking, trends. You're also backed by a huge team, but again, great information there. But I don't want to continue to ramble. I just wanted to kind of give an update on everything that is going on and what I'm foreseeing. Again, I feel like Friday or Sunday we're going to gap up. But let me go ahead and pull up the charts here so we can kind of look and see what's going on. Let me full screen this guy. So we've been playing this essentially Thursday and Friday, right? And I talked about this throughout the week. You know, that biggest drop, right? This was everything coming into before Powell, right? We were looking strong, and then the rates, the worry about the rates, inflation, and that rates will start getting raised, had this massive, the fear in the market just caused the market to drop, right? Because of the rate. They thought rates were going to come back again. Powell over the past week reiterated they're not changing anything, right? Not at the current moment. It's not saying that will be adjusted down the road. I think even Powell is kind of seeing that the market is so strong that it's starting to catch up, though he still pressed that a stimulus package was needed, right? Because you can't just go off of you have to essentially go with where the lower class is at, right? And ultimately, that should be your guide, and not what essentially the rest of the rest of the population is doing, right? Because that is your gauge, and I think Powell knows that. And being said, that's why he keeps reiterating that a package needs to go out. These other things, right? People have still gone a long time without work, even though the market is good and recovering very well. You still got laggers, right? You may have leaders right now, but there is still a lot of laggers, and to help those laggers, you have to essentially have the package ready to be able to do that. Now, being said, this market, again, innovation, and one thing that Cathie Woods also talked about was the fact that, and this is great for those people who aren't aware of, the .com era, and Cathie Woods brought this up, which I thought was a great point. The .com era, essentially you had one sector get all the attention, and so you had a bull market essentially in one sector, and that's why you got this massive bubble and crash. But what she said is you are seeing, and which I've also seen in the value stocks, if you look things like at Wynn, airlines, restaurants and everything like that, they are also starting to become part of this bull market, and they've been pushing up over the past week while all big tech has been selling off, but big tech has been holding, and that's one thing to keep in mind here. Now you got innovation, now you got value stocks, everything is starting to just feed into this bull economy. It's not saying some people are going to fall off. Yes, some people need to adapt. There you got another trend coming here where, the internet, the blockchain, all these other things that people, they don't want to accept, right? There's a lot of people that get stuck and don't want to accept change, but change will be forced upon them. Ultimately, being said, the market is going to reflect that. So I think right now we are reloaded. I think everything, that's why Cathie Wood has just been buying, people have been throwing her name in the mud again, right? But I think she's going to prove them wrong again now because of the fact that you have to be forward thinking, right? Especially in the marketplace, things change all the time. I think we're going to see a big revolution again in the way things work now. and you're going to see that reflected in the market. But being said, so the market's been trading sideways. Like I said, sorry, I kept ranting there, but just want to kind of reiterate some points here. The market itself, right? Powell came out, kind of forced this bump back up, and then it started to sell off like it wanted to sell off on, I believe this is Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. And then, that reassurance kind of held us to a lower high right here. And then he came out and reiterated everything again. We went back up. We flew back up. It looks like we were going to all-time highs. And then for whatever reason, people, I guess, forgot about what he was saying. The yields were still pushing high, and so we sold off, and then we've just been rattling around all day, essentially Friday. Now that we got the stimulus, I mean, this is holding well. Now that we got the stimulus, again, I think we gap back up over all this, and we start heading back up to all-time highs. Again, I know a lot of people are worried about a crash. In my opinion, that is not now. I think all this will eventually, but another good point Kathy Woods brought up is that as long as innovation in the way things essentially are playing out, it may not actually cause a crash. It just depends on how it does. And that's why she reiterates that it's good that, again, the bulls are not just going with innovation, right? If it was just innovation, then you have the .com style crash, but it is not that, right? You have the value, right? All the money is flooding to not only innovation, but it's also flooding to value. Again, what being said, that's not saying that some companies are going to get lost in the sauce essentially and still, crash and burn because they're not adjusting to the economy and where we're going in this digital age. But being said, ES, I think this is going to gap. Sunday, we'll see if I'm right or not. The VIX, I think all this is going to change. Right now, again, recording this on the Saturday, all this is going to change. Nice to see TLT, again, push back up on Friday. As soon as this is that mini flash crash I was talking about on Thursday, this thing came down quick. This is a matter of seconds, and then it was bought right back up, and then it reattempted, and now it's pushing up. Again, I think this will gap over 200 and then start pushing. The thing is that bonds don't typically go up with the market, so there is kind of an issue there, but which I think will be corrected at one point. Kathy Woods also brought up something about Bitcoin possibly being the next bond market. So keep that in mind, right? Again, these things take time to play out, but seeds are planted, right? You have to realize these seeds are planted. It takes a while for them to eventually grow and sprout, but ultimately here, I think that is very much possible. It's a very good possibility in my mind. Forward thinking, don't tune anything out, right? Listen to everything with an open mind about these things because everything is possible. People thought Bitcoin was impossible. Now look at it. It was trading up to almost 60K, just a couple of days ago. Being said, all the metals are falling. Bitcoin is even falling at this point. Which, going with that statement about the bonds, if the market's going to go up, you do want Bitcoin to go down essentially. So we'll see how that works out. QQQ, everything, even on the daily, everything's kind of in a bad spot in the daily, but I think with everything I think we're going to see this pop over. QQQ looks strong on the hourly. On Friday, we started having this push up. I thought we would have still had some more room to run here and attempting to break since it was over the 20 and 50. Again, with the passing of the bill, I think we continue to run. The market's flooded with money. I think the next couple of months are going to be huge on this bull push. Being said, SPY tried to sell off after hours. Again, just uncertainty with the bill not getting passed until early Saturday morning. Tesla looking strong. I scalped this on Friday. I almost took a position on this. I think right now, to be honest, I do like Tesla and I do like a lot of the stuff it's come in, but he is I think that, again, there is a lot priced in. So to think about how far Tesla's really going to run, it's really hard to tell. I think I might take a position in this, but it won't be as big as I have been before. I think I'm going to essentially allocate that money to other stocks that I think can grow more over the next couple months, as opposed to Tesla. I think Tesla has hit some major strides, yes, and still has a lot coming, but I think you won't see as much movement in Tesla until later on in the year, if that. I think there'll be greater movement in other stocks, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, Square. Square could be a great possibility, even with the pandemic, quote unquote, being over and all that stuff. I think Square, you're still gonna have people are still gonna have that separation, right? That 6 feet and all that stuff. Square is still great for that stuff. Having Cash App and stuff like that, I think is really going to explode and continue to explode, along with the Bitcoin craze and all that. Airbnb, I'm upset this thing took off on Friday. I wanted it lower. I was hoping for 65. I mean, we'll see what opens up on Monday. If we get it down at all, I hope now it comes back down to 180. It might just gap and run. But this is one I want to keep on watch for this week. Again, if it comes down, if it even holds here, to be honest, I'll probably try to grab a leap for this one. This is one I've talked about. I do want this one for the summer. I do believe it's going to be leading the way, and I think 200 is priced very low for Airbnb, especially surviving the pandemic and everything. It's going to really explode. Apple, I almost took an Apple leap on this. Again, waiting. I think Apple's always going to lead the way. It might be worth a leap come Monday. Again, we have to see how the market opens. I don't really care about the futures tomorrow. The futures tomorrow, I think, are going to gap. And then we might run quite a bit, actually, to be honest, with this newfound money. But I think that there's going to be a pullback on Monday. Monday's normally good for a pullback. I think that will be our final pullback before we start into our new month, which, again, March is typically a bull month historically, and April is a huge bull month historically. So, again, don't load the boat and be patient. Find your entries. Even myself, I took PLTR. I took position in shares and the leaps in that as well. So being said, PLTR was at a good spot. That's why I did that. On the daily, it was at really solid support, and I really like PLTR on the daily, so that's why I went with that, and I got back into that one. Facebook is always still a good growth one to go into. Right now, I'm trying to look for value stocks, right? Like Airbnb, I think would be a good one. PLTR, I still want to add a little bit more to that one. If we get any kind of pullback come on Monday in the following weeks. The official contract for Beyond Meat came out for 3 years with McDonald's as well. That's where you got some of these massive push up. But again, I think it's going to sell off a little bit more. Again, look for the 110 on BYND. Spot, I like Spot a lot. I think Spot has a lot going on. It's as far as like BYND, Beyond has some great promoters, right? They promote their stuff really well, and I think that's why you have these massive prices on BYND. The same could be said about Spot, right? They are really forward thinking, and they are doing a lot of big things here. And so I do like Spots. It might be one I was in this one and I cut it out. I wanted to see how much more we sold off. Again, on Monday, depending how we are, I might look at Spot again. I might just grab a leap for this one as opposed to trying to grab anything else. But I do still like Spot. Etsy, I think a lot of e-commerce is just going to sell off at this point. I think you should focus on other ones like even this Disney, right? I think value stocks, I think this Disney is going to explode, right? All this has essentially been, I know some of it's been the parks, but I mean, most of this Disney Plus and everything coming out. I mean, Disney Plus, they got tons of movies coming out this year. All their Marvel movies are coming out this year. All their parks are going to open this year. Disney, I think, is turning into a growth stock, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I think this one can really explode this year. So that would be a good one to be on watch. I really like where this is sitting at. If it hasn't gapped up too much, I want to get back into U. I think where U can really fly. Might just grab a leap in here for U. Planter, I love this one. Actually gapped up. I did catch this one. I played this. I scalped this with shares pre-market. I sold them and then jive back down. I grabbed more shares and a leap, and I'm ready for this one to break. I think this one breaks out and then we go running. I think Planner is going to have a fantastic year. I love their business model and the possibilities because they're not, again, stuck to one industry, right? Big data is a real issue. If you know anything about big data is a huge issue, and their software, their AI helps tremendously with that. And they've been around for a while, right? So being said, again, their technology is just now coming to the consumers, whereas before it was more of a, again, government. Their client was essentially government. 100% of the work came from the government. Now that's expanding out to more of the civilian sector, right? So being said, I think this one is really going to fly. And NDM, I like this one, but I'm waiting to see how this plays out. This is another innovative one that I do like. I do like 90 Dimension, so I'm watching that. Fastly actually looked really good. It's been consolidating a lot. I want to take a good position in this as well. I think, depending on how we open on Monday, again, 9:30, it can gap overnight and crap. So I'm kind of just waiting closer to Monday morning, pre-market, see what's going on. Nano, X Imaging, again, I'm not a huge fan. I like their business model, but I mean, that business model is being displayed in a lot of different industries. So I can see where it could be beneficial, I guess. High Tide, I still kind of like that one. ALM could be good. Again, waiting on Planet 13. I want to try to grab this here at this 620 mark. It's been playing range. It does this well, and then it has these massive gap ups. So I'm hoping to catch this one back in this zone. I do have a buy order for Planet 13 again. A very good butcher. I haven't sold this at all. I'm still waiting in the exchange and everything with this one. I think this one is going to have a massive run this year, again, with the distribution and everything. I have created a separate video on that, so I suggest you watch that to see what I'm talking about. That was one other thing that brings up another thing. I've been talking about savings rate, which I talked about last week. Kathy Woods brought out, because I think when I talked about it, it was around like 13, 15%. Apparently it's bumped up to 20%. So keep that in mind. So this bull market is being fed by not only more money being flooded in from the government, but you have massive bank accounts of people saving over this time. So there is going to be a lot of people getting out, especially when they get the go ahead to go out and do stuff. Consumer confidence really starts hitting its stride and sprinting at this point, I think, out of the gates. This Evogen, I actually got into Evogen, a small position, but I wanted to get a piece of this. I think this one will actually run this quite a bit this year, especially with the Biden administration. Let's see. A lot of these, again, are setting up. Again, it's, in my mind, you should go for the high conviction. Riot, I would like to eventually get in. I'm trying to find a good support on Riot. And see, because I think Bitcoin hasn't stopped. So more companies are starting to buy into Bitcoin. A good thing to keep in mind. MP has been holding well, actually. This might be another one to go in as well. It breaks that. You keep an eye on that one as well. A lot of these energy plays, Enphase. I still really like this one. Have to see. A lot of stuff is going to gap up. So if you didn't catch it Friday, you should be able to get it on Monday, and then we'll see how the rest of the week plays out. I'm not saying don't jump in on Monday thinking everything's just going to start running. Kind of watch the markets to see how they play. When it's coming down, or what's holding decently, I guess. Trying to think here. WWE. If it comes back down to the zone, I'll buy WWE, AMC, GME. I do like AMC. Again, the value play here. I think this summer can really cause this thing to jet. I think there'll be other bigger moves, but I'm still watching this. I do like AMC. GameStop, I have no interest in. I think this one is purely pumped. AMC did get pumped, I'm not going to lie, but I think the value behind it is still there. Fundamentals and stuff are still there. People like to go to movies. That's my mindset. People like to go to movies. People want to get out. They don't want to be home watching movies all the time. Yes, it's nice to have that ability, but I don't think we're at the point to where we're just going to completely eliminate that. You still have a lot of people who like to go to the movies, out with their friends, actually physically be around people, right? And we haven't gone into that virtual reality yet. When it gets to that point, I can see that's where that would be the last fork in the road for AMC at that point. But I don't think we're there yet. Tilray still consolidating nicely. I might actually, if it's holding here on Monday, I want to get back into a leap in this one. But I think that's it, guys. This video is actually pretty long. I know I've kind of talked about a lot of different things. It's just going after your high convictions, right? I think you need to have some value with growth. And I've been looking for value because I'm mainly growth and innovation. Again, Tesla, in my mind, isn't my highest priority. I do want to get a piece of it, but I think there's better plays out there in the coming months. I don't know if you're short-term, long-term. If you're long-term, Tesla's essentially become one of those ones that will at least give you a 10% every year, right? Being said, there's a lot priced into Tesla. I do agree with that. The evaluations, everything on Tesla are pretty high. Autonomous vehicles and all that stuff, I think, is going to be a real thing. But I think you can go with autonomous in some other plays, like maybe Baidu or something that has a little bit more growth and room to run. Again, Tesla has a lot of that stuff priced in. So it's kind of hard to tell with Tesla. I think I still want a piece with it, but it's just determining how big that piece is. So if you do like this video, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time, guys, manage risk, take care, and have a solid week. All right, later.